That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Trade Talk. This week we are finishing up Grant Morrison's Justice League run by talking about Justice League World War III. And this is the culmination of it all, and man, it is knuckin' futz. It is one of the most epic things Grant Morrison ever wrote, and probably was for the longest time until you got to like Final Crisis and Multiversity, where the scales kept getting more and more epic. Oh, and we mustn't forget Seven Soldiers. Yeah, this is pretty intense, y'all. So the premise is that a weapon of the old gods, the gods that existed before Kirby's Fourth World, New Gods, the gods of the Third World, a weapon of the old gods called Megadon has reactivated and is making its way across the universe, and Earth's right in its line of fire. This was first seeded in Rock of Ages when Aquaman and Green Lantern and the Flash were looking for the Philosopher's Stone with Metron. They ended up on Wonderworld, which is a world of epic scale superheroes that are all giants. And Wonderworld was preparing for the eventual arrival of Megadon that had been foretold. And so pretty early on in this book, you get a scene of Wonderworld again, catching up on Wonderworld, and it's been destroyed from within. All of it has been demolished. They fought to the last man against each other. The universe's greatest superheroes that are on such an epic scale, completely surpassing anything that the greatest superheroes of Earth could do, killed each other. Because that's what Megadon does. Megadon infects and incites war among planets it consumes. And that is fucking brilliant. And I love it. So the term World War III is actually completely accurate. World War III starts happening in this book. The Injustice Gang gets back together. They blow up the Watchtower. The Injustice Gang this time being Prometheus, Lex Luthor, the General, and Queen Bee. They blow up the Watchtower. They begin to infect the minds of world leaders. Nations start going to war with each other, preparing to nuke each other. And just all kinds of shit goes down. Just literally all kinds of shit. And it is just intense as fuck. You just get this epic ass fight between the General and Superman. Orion's got his war dog with him. It's cool as shit, y'all. It's cool as shit. Anyway. Yeah, so there's just tons of epic craziness in here, and I would never be able to describe it all. But what I really like is they come up with a plan, and it's Wonder Woman's plan in the end. Though I do want to stop real quick and read this Oracle line. Oracle gets a mother box, which is pretty sweet, and that gives her access to the telepathic field, so she can send telepathic communications through technology to the world. Oracle online and in your head. Troops on the march. Bombers in the air. The alarms are coming from everywhere. This is World War III. And you just get like scot-free. Not if we can help it. Man, it's so cool. shit is going down, and then you finally get your first look at Megadon. That's Earth, by the way. It's just such an epic fucking scale here. It's so cool. Man, Howard Porter's art really starts to work for me here in a way that I was never going to call Howard Porter a bad artist, but early in the run, you could definitely feel him kind of, I don't want to say trapped, because I feel like he was making these decisions himself. You definitely felt that the style of 90s comics was affecting his style. But here, I feel he's much more comfortable in his style. He's much more expressive, and he's not being constrained by the conventions of 90s comic writing anymore, or drawing anymore. And so he's getting to do a lot cleaner stuff that just looks a lot better, in my opinion. And maybe that's because I'm a 2000s comic guy, and this is starting where we start to see that style develop. But anyway, the ultimate plan here is actually Wonder Woman's, because she doesn't like the idea of fighting to end World War III. It's contradictory. You don't fight to end the war to end all wars, right? That's contradictory to her philosophy. So she comes up with a plan, and it's a pretty sweet ass plan. I really like it. They go to Easter Island, and they've got machines ready to broadcast to the world, and so they've empowered everybody, or they've got machines ready to broadcast to the world, and they want to know what to do and what they can broadcast, and using technology and all kinds of craziness, including one of the survivors of Wonderworld, they get the chance to give everybody on Earth superpowers, because at the very beginning of Grant Morrison's run, the White Martians established that humanity was destined to be a race of super beings, but because the White Martians early in the evolutionary process messed with it, humanity was only destined to be human then. But that baseline of genetics was still there. And so, using all this crazy technology that I don't really want to bother to explain, they're able to jumpstart evolution, and I understand that's not how evolution works, but I don't care because it's so fucking cool. They're able to jumpstart evolution and give all of humanity superpowers, all 6 billion, whatever existed at the time. This is Oracle, digital telepathy. Hi everyone, don't be afraid. What we're feeling are new structures opening in our brains and bodies. It's like a preview of evolution. All this amazing stuff you're seeing and feeling is what Superman feels like all the time. It's why he wants to save us. So listen to me carefully. Megadon will destroy us all unless we stand together. Our minds are linked, and for the time being, we all have superpowers. Serious superpowers. Like, get an image of Batman just crushing a metal chair in his hand. And then Wonder Woman comes in. Oracle, I'm in orbit, breathing. I'm not sure about this, but I couldn't stop them. They said Superman had saved them more times than they could count. Stay information, everyone. Who said Wonder Woman? They wouldn't take no for an answer. And so you have Wonder Woman leading literally all of humanity into orbit to combat Megadon. So it's not a matter of like fighting, it's a matter of uniting, and that's so cool. And so she's like, Justice League reserves, onward. And the human race is now the reserve Justice League. And it's so fucking epically cool. So they're able to fight off Megadon, and and Superman was captured at one point, and it got kind of interesting. I'll talk about that again. He's able to get out and absorb Megadon's power source and, save the day, basically. This is Oracle. Thanks to you all, there will be a tomorrow. Man, I really like that. Doomsday is cancelled until further notice. The Megadon warhead has been disarmed. I really like it. It's so cool. There's this neat bit, though, where Superman is captured, and Megadon is making him feel hopelessness, which is a kind of unique feeling for Superman. Batman has to try to talk him out of it. I don't know, it's just really, really cool, the scale and how amazing this is. And I feel like if I were to try to describe it too much, it's gonna sound really, really bad. But I don't know, man, something about this really, really works. I love this moment of Superman feeling hopelessness. No matter how many we save, we'll never make it right. We'll always be too late to save the ones we most needed to save. Better to die, just die, let it all die. We can't defeat this, we can't win against the end of it all. Oblivion, Megadon. All we've ever done is try to save Krypton or Mars, save our parents and loved ones over and over again. But we never will, we never did. And so you get this really cool image of, you got Jean, Clark, and Batman all mentally connected. And so this is the image of hopelessness that is being projected into their minds by Megadon. And it's just so fucking cool and crazy. And I kind of love that about it. Like, you just have this mental flash. Man. So you got Death killing, Mars and Krypton as young Bruce Wayne sits there and is overwhelmed by the consequences, is the idea behind it. And I really like that. So yeah, this is a really solid end to a run. And Grant Morrison had one of the best runs on Justice League. On the regular comic review show tonight, I was talking about Mark Bennett's Bombshells, which I also really, really love. And I would argue it's a better run on Justice League than Grant Morrison's. And so I want to talk about some general criticisms of Morrison's run that are the reason I feel why it's not the best run on Justice League. At least anymore. So first and foremost, Grant Morrison has a disadvantage that a lot of people writing Justice League, I feel, have, and makes me want more Justice League stuff that's not in continuity. Having to deal with continuity gets fucking ridiculous throughout Morrison's run. There's a lot of stupid shit that, like, it's fine. It's fine. We all know how comic books are, where, this character isn't this character that you're used to for a week or whatever. So, like, in Morrison's run, we have to deal with Electric Superman, Hippolyta Wonder Woman, and just for literally 2 issues, a Flash that is not Wally West. And it's not Barry Allen, and in the Justice League story, we have no idea who it is. I'm sure 90s and Flash fans could tell me who that Flash is, but honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the story, but because DC wants their continuity to be this, like, a thing and to matter and all this stuff, they have to keep it consistent in Justice League. And I understand that, but man, that makes it not age well. That makes it just really complicated and alienating to get into. So, like, if you were like me when I was a kid, and you grew up watching the Justice League Unlimited show, if you're a kid now watching, like, Justice League Action, and you want to go out and you want to pick up a Justice League book, you know what you're going to pick up? Probably not in the Captain America or the Daredevil book. You know what you're gonna find in a Justice League book right now? If you go on the stands? This shit. And I'm not saying that as like a riff on Scott Snyder or anything, but like 4 teams of Justice League, and it's all connected to the DC Metal event and backlash or fallout from that, and it's just a huge fucking mess of a thing that for people that are really into like the DC universe continuity and playing around with that stuff, yeah, I'm sure it's great and that's fine, but it's the epitome of unappealing and alienating. I've been a comics fan for going on 10 years now, like reading current comic books and stuff. I don't know half the shit that's going on with the 90s continuity. It's not relevant anymore. And so it makes this not age as well, which is really disappointing because it's seriously a really, really strong run. And in my mind, one of the best runs on Justice League. Just because I'm saying that Margaret Bennett has a better run, if you consider just Bombshell's a Justice League book, which I do, even though she has a better run on Justice League, this is still in the top 5 right now. Like, this is still some of the best Justice League writing you're ever going to get. And I mean, it's really telling that the Justice League animated series just straight adapted a lot of these stories or really took the core premise and then ran with it in their own little direction. So it's that really, really helps, and it's a solid book, though. It is dead solid, but it's got its issues. It definitely has the problem of just being mired in continuity of the 90s, and that makes it not age well. I first read Morrison's Justice League run probably year 2 to 3 of me getting into comics. And let me explain how I got into comics. So I saw Dark Knight, and I got really into Batman, and I wanted to find more Batman stuff, so I went online, and I found a bunch of fan films, and I got into the Joker blogs, and so I started watching the Joker blogs, and then I decided to start reading comics, because that series wasn't coming out often enough. So I started reading, so I went to the library, and I was like, alright, Batman comics, let's find stuff. And so I found Dark Knight Returns, I found Killing Joke, Long Halloween, Batman Year One. I read through all of those, and then I started reading some more obscure stuff, like Under the Red Hood, or not obscure, but some more like modern stuff, Under the Red Hood, War Games, No Man's Land. So I started like dabbling into different areas of the continuity and stuff. And then, so about year 2 to 3, I started reading Morrison's Justice League. And I remember thinking it was really good and really liking it and enjoying it. Rereading this run has been quite an experience for me because I am flabbergasted at how little I remember about the particulars. And I think that's, one, because of a lot of the continuity stuff, but also I think an underlying thing is it's so big and so sprawling that I think you're going to have a hard time connecting all the events unless you read it in a straight go like I did. You know, I've been reading this the last 6 weeks, basically. 1 volume a week. And so, like, I remember reading World War III, and I remember all of humanity gaining superpowers. And I also remember I don't know. I'm trying, like, it felt almost like a new read on this one, even though I know I've read it before. So much of this just didn't stick in my head. Maybe that makes past Ian a bad reader at retention, but so much of this didn't stick for me for some reason or another. And I think a lot of it had to do with continuity and just the way Morrison writes. And so I feel like that's definitely a disadvantage this has, especially to new readers, because of how much of this is connected. Like, I completely forgot that Wonder World was set up and paid off in World War III. I don't know how. I really have no justification for it. I completely forgot that this is the second time the Injustice Gang teamed up. I forgot who was on the Injustice Gang in this team. It seems like that should have stuck for me, and I guess it just never did, which is weird. So, I don't know. It's definitely, I feel, a problem on some level. Some of that might be me. Maybe more of it's, maybe some of it's the writing, too. I don't know. I'm not going to try to split hairs there. I just wanted to make sure I talked about that. But yeah, there's some really great stuff in here. I really like the scene with Zariel, the fallen angel. He gets killed, and so he returns to heaven. And he finds that heaven has basically just written off reality. They're like, yeah, this isn't going to work. They're doomed. Guess we're just going to make another universe. And Zariel is pissed by that. So he gives a big speech and says, no, I'm going back and I'm going to fight for them and with them. Zariel, this passion you feel is a result of too long spent embedded in mortal clay. Your flesh will be restored. Return to your earth and fulfill your duty there. Let's see. And pray you're kinder to the creatures of this new world you're making. I know where my heart lies. I skipped the speech, damn it. Zuriel, you have spent too long in the mortal world. The present moves in mysterious ways. Its wonders too. Then the present speaks in me, as in all things. And I ask again, in the name of him who gave his life for humanity, will none of you take on mortal flesh and stand with me in their hour of greatest need? Have you learned nothing from watching over them? Have you not once learned love? And so then, as it appears he's going to be leaving heaven on his own, suddenly some angels... Zariel! I am Bemuel of the Bull host of the Pax D. I will fight at your side. And I am Amaphodo. I will take on mortal flesh, and I, and also I, and I, and I, and I. So he's like inspired the angels to come to Earth and fight, and it's so fucking cool. I love treating Christian mythology the same as we would any other type of mythology. It plays so fucking well like that. It's great. Man, I just love this book. It's super fun. There's this moment where the angel will actually get to play a bigger part as opposed to just being cannon fodder. Where it like shows all the world leaders about to launch their nukes. Why not just press the button? Better to go quickly. Better to die by fire and light. Give the cockroaches a turn. Then just one of the angels shows up. He's like, they're not quite ready for the responsibility, Mr. Prime Minister. Oh, that's so cool. So yeah, you have all the world leaders about to launch their nukes, and the angels all come and tell them not to. And that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I really like this. This is a really good book. This is really fun. It's a fantastic end to a run, too. It is so well done, so well planned, so well thought out. Morrison just did a great job on this. J.M. DeMatteis also has a issue in here in which the Justice League are dealing with the Spectre, Hal Jordan, the Spectre. It's an okay issue. I kind of like the point it makes where it shows you what Superman sees, which is even in the darkest of us, there is a small part of true hope and love. And they exemplify that by going into the Joker's mind and seeing that personified, and it totally fucks with the Spectre's beliefs on humanity, and that's pretty cool. So I certainly enjoyed that, but otherwise, I don't know. Just an okay issue. That's a fill-in between the parts of this World War III arc. And I don't know. I'd say that has some kind of impact on on some of the themes here, playing with the idea of like the angels learning love and compassion for humanity, and um, I'd say there's a good argument to be made for that. I really miss Zariel. I don't know what happens to him. I can't quite recall. I don't think he leaves at the end of this, unless I just forgot, which seems entirely possible. Barda and Metron leave, and the Justice League gets a cool group shot at the very end, and Zariel's not there. But I don't remember them mentioning him not being around anymore. I don't know. I don't know if Zariel's in the next volume. I'm not going to do all of Wade's run, mostly because I don't have it, but Wade becomes the main writer after this. And he does not disappoint. He does not drop the ball at all from this, because he starts his run off with Tower of Babel, which I'll be talking about next time. Anyway, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I had a lot of fun talking about this one. This is a good time. Until next time, though, I will be reviewing some damn comic books.
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.